You were told there are no wild cougars in Wisconsin. The map on your wall says the same thing. The trail cameras did not get that memo. If you're a hunter who saw something on a logging road at dusk, a skeptic waiting to catch this video overreaching, or a ranger who filed a report that went nowhere, I want you to stay. There's a case here with physical evidence you haven't seen framed correctly, a witness you would never dismiss, an agency that quietly changed its own language, and a question about what confirmed actually means in a state where the animal is already walking. Let me start with a frame. Northern Wisconsin, mixed hardwood, a food plot on private land, pre-dawn. The landowner is running the same deer camera he's run for 7 years. He's expecting deer, coyote, the occasional fisher. What he gets is a long-tailed cat crossing the plot from left to right in a low, fluid gait. The tail is nearly as long as the body. The shoulder height matched against a doe track pressed into the same frame 2 hours earlier is wrong for a bobcat, wrong for a house cat, wrong for a dog. His first thought is camera glitch. His second thought is somebody's exotic. His third thought is the one he doesn't say out loud because he already knows how that phone call to the DNR is going to go. Here's the part I want you to notice. A single trail cam frame on its own has almost never been enough for the Wisconsin DNR to publicly confirm a cougar. That isn't the agency being difficult. That's the agency being honest. Frames get faked. Frames get misread. A confirmation bar that low would flood the log with noise. So the frame is consistent with a cougar. It is not by itself a cougar. Would that frame have convinced you before you knew what the standard was? The next case rests on something you can hold in your hand. A hunter in the western part of the state finds a fresh track crossing a 2-track road after a thin overnight snow. 4 toes, no claw marks, an asymmetric heel pad. He follows it, finds a scrape, finds scat. He bags the scat. He knows what a coyote leaves and what a bobcat leaves, and this is neither. Now here's the "it once made sense" beat. The eastern cougar was declared officially extinct in 2011. That declaration wasn't foolish. It rested on decades of survey work east of the Great Plains showing no reproducing population. But at the same time that federal listing was moving through, something else was happening in the Midwest. Young male cougars from the Black Hills of South Dakota, the closest confirmed source population, were dispersing east, following river corridors, crossing state lines, hundreds of miles from where they were born, looking for territory and mates that mostly aren't there yet. The scat, sent to a university lab through the kind of chain that produces publishable results, comes back consistent with a cougar tracing back to that western source population. That is the reveal I want you to sit with for a second. This is not a mystery cat. This is an animal doing exactly what young male cougars do, in exactly the direction the biology predicts, at exactly the range they're documented to cover. The Wisconsin DNR has publicly confirmed cougar incidents in the state since the late 2000s, and the confirmed count has kept moving. If you have a Wisconsin sighting your family dismissed at the time, share it in the comments. Somebody scrolling past may be sitting on the frame that finally corroborates yours. Now hold the question that just opened. If these are dispersing males, where are the females? The third case doesn't rest on one witness. It rests on a pattern along a single river drainage. A rancher who's run cattle in the same section for 30 years notices that a deer carcass on the edge of his pasture has been partially covered. Leaves, dirt, a broken branch dragged across the ribs. Bears scatter a carcass. Coyotes strip it. Cougars cache it. That behavior is diagnostic. 2 counties away, a bow hunter finds a similar cache. A state trooper's dashcam catches a long-tailed animal crossing a rural highway at 3 in the morning, moving across the same drainage the rancher's pasture drains into. Individually, each of those is a story. Mapped along the water, they look like a route. And now, the skeptical filter has to land, because this is where the case earns itself. Most Black Panther reports across the Midwest are almost certainly misidentified. No melanistic cougar has ever been documented anywhere in the species range, not once. So when someone tells you they saw a black panther in Wisconsin, the honest answer is that they probably saw a large feral cat, a fisher at distance, or a dark-coated dog in poor light. A lot of nighttime sightings dissolve completely when you apply size correction for stress and distance. Some cached kills are the work of large dogs. Some tracks that get called cougar are actually a mountain lion of a different species, which is to say a lynx or a large bobcat. Apply all of that honestly. Strip out the misidentifications, the stress errors, the wishful thinking, the outright hoaxes. What remains in Wisconsin is a specific, smaller residue of cases, DNA-verified samples, cached prey with feline drag marks, multiple independent cameras on the same drainage inside a narrow window, dashcam footage that doesn't need interpretation. That residue does not prove Wisconsin has a resident breeding population. It proves the corridor is functional. Those are two different sentences, and the difference matters. In your county, is there a river drainage the range map treats as empty? Look at it on satellite, follow it upstream, follow it downstream. That is what the animal is doing. The animal moved, now watch the paperwork. If you go back through Wisconsin DNR public statements over the last 15 years or so, something quiet happens. Early language tends toward the absolute. No cougars in Wisconsin. Then, as confirmations start landing, the language shifts. No known resident breeding population. Then a publicly posted large carnivore confirmation page appears, with counts that update. That progression isn't a cover-up being exposed. It's an agency doing exactly what an evidence-driven agency should do. The old statement was true at the time. The new statement is true now. The map on most textbooks and most search engine info panels is lagging the DNR's own confirmation log by years. There's a real trade-off underneath that lag. A confirmed cougar creates institutional workload, livestock claims, public safety calls, political pressure around protection status and hunting seasons. That isn't corruption. That's a real cost calculus that shapes how quickly official language moves. Meanwhile, the biologist looking at the scat sample already knows what it is. So where are the females? As of the most recent public records I've seen for Wisconsin, there's no confirmed reproducing female. That is the honest answer. The confirmations are, for now, overwhelmingly dispersing males, which means the state is on the front edge of something, not in the middle of it. The recolonization isn't complete. It may not even be happening in the way people imagine. But the corridor is open and males are using it. And every year the source population in the Black Hills produces more young cats looking for the next unclaimed drainage. Here is a step you can take before you decide what to believe about any of this. Don't use the summary map. Pull up the Wisconsin DNR's own large carnivore confirmation page. Read the incident-by-incident record. Compare that record to the range map in the first article that shows up on a search. Then ask a local trapper or bow hunter what they've seen in the last 5 years and how they were received when they reported it. You will get a very different picture than the one the summary is selling you. That is the framework, and I want you to see how naturally it built itself out of these cases. What is the physical evidence, and can it be reproduced? How credible is the witness? Position, training, prior record. Is the sighting biologically plausible given dispersal range, prey base, corridor geometry, and the nearest source population? Does the historical record support presence or absence in this specific state? Has the agency's own language quietly shifted? And after every honest skeptical filter, what residue actually survives? The question stops being, is it real? The question becomes, which specific piece of the Wisconsin map does this case redraw? Here's where I want to leave you. The textbook you were handed in school is older than the animal walking through the drainage behind your house. That doesn't mean every sighting is real. It doesn't mean your neighbor's black panther was a cougar. It doesn't mean the DNR is hiding anything. It means specific animals are already redrawing the map in the time it takes for the map to get reprinted, and the honest position is somewhere between not present and resident population. Wisconsin has confirmed dispersing cougars. Wisconsin has not confirmed a resident breeding population. Both statements are true right now. Both matter. If you saw one and you were dismissed, your senses may have been right about something the paperwork hadn't caught up to yet. That doesn't mean you were right about everything. It means the burden of proof looks different from where you were standing than from where the biologist was standing. And the useful question is which parts of your account survive every honest filter. Trust the residue. Doubt the rest. Then go check your own state's confirmation log, because if this is happening in Wisconsin, it is almost certainly happening somewhere closer to you. If you want to see how this same pattern is playing out with wolves returning to states that lost them a century ago, that case is even harder to explain, and I'll walk you through it next.